Hi, it's a Lipstick Owl. Thank you so much for watching today. My last video, I'll link it for you in the description box and right here, was talking about the 12 best products that had come into my makeup collection this year. They weren't necessarily new, they were just ones that I had tried for the first time and I was like, whoa, these are great. There are a lot of other really wonderful products that I've been trying, and I want to make sure that if you're curious about what those are, check out my monthly favorites for this year, like January through, May is coming up, the end of May, so I'll have a new one of those soon, next week. But I just want you to know that if you want to know like what really has been hitting for me, it's not just those 12, it's a lot of other things, and if you want a more complete list, check out that playlist. But I thought, because we did the best, we got to talk about the ones that just haven't done it. They haven't even worked out a little bit. Some of them so bad that they had to go back. All right, now, things to keep in mind. First of all, I'm 49, I have mature skin, combo skin, and I'm looking for products that sit on my skin in a specific way. That's going to be a huge part of this. Another thing to keep in mind is that I'm also looking for value for the product. Okay, I don't want something to be exorbitantly expensive and then just not really deliver. All right, so beyond that, another thing to keep in mind is that you and I probably wear makeup differently, and what might work for you will not work for me due to different skin type. You know, maybe I'm combo and you're dry, or maybe our ages aren't similar, or we have a different makeup aesthetic for how we put it on. So it's not that these products are bad. They didn't work for me in a spectacular way. Like, they were just like, no. I'm going to start with the ones that I have already returned. These are products that I disliked so much, I had to send them back. And what's interesting is that I've seen these on some people's best of the year. I've seen people raving about these, and I don't understand it. First one is a fairly recent, newer release from Natasha Denona. It's her High Gen Skin Glowing Beautifier. I think that's the official name, but it's a highlight. Now, the reason I didn't like it was because it was marketed as being able to take, like a large fluffy brush, go all over the pan and on bare skin, buff it in. And I'll tell you, if you see any of those images of models, even Natasha, I'm sure that she and I are close-ish in age. She's probably a little younger than me, but she's not like 12 or 22. She looked fantastic. And I was like, I want that. So when I bought it and I did that, guess who looked like the Tin Man? Me. The other thing that I noticed is that it actually emphasized my pores. It emphasized my fine lines, my crow's feet, when the product itself said it was supposed to blur and diminish the look of. I just felt like it did the exact opposite. Was it me looking my best? No. Was it a beautiful highlight? Yes, it was a gorgeous highlight. I think if it had been marketed as a highlight, I probably would have kept it and been okay with it. But since it was marketed as kind of like a multi-use product and I couldn't use it in the way that I really wanted to use it, but it gave a beautiful like glow to the skin. It did bring out a little bit more texture even as a highlight than I would like, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't like a terrible offender. For me, it was saying that you could put it all over your bare face and leave the house, and I would leave looking like, a geriatric Tin Man. And I was like, I don't want to do that, because it was just highlighting all of my flaws. So at $48, I was like, I'm not paying $50 after tax and shipping and all of that for a product that's not going to make me look better. Is it a good product? Yeah. Do people love it? Yeah. It didn't work for my nearly 50-year-old skin. Something else that fell into that category where it just didn't sit well on my skin are the new concealers and correctors from NYX. These are called the Pro Fix Stick. I got the lightest corrector in pink. I thought that shade worked really well, and I really also felt like it did an adequate job. Was it my favorite? No. Did I have to keep it? No. But it didn't really do bad things. The problem that I had is the concealer. I got the concealer in the lightest shade, and it really settled in my under eyes. Even after setting it with powder, it still settled. It also emphasized the texture of my under eyes in an unattractive way. I felt like my under eyes looked 5 to 7 years older just with the concealer. And it wasn't one that I could wear without setting it because it would settle. And then when I set it, oh, and I'm using my lightest, most non-powdery powders. I tried the Portrait Mode, didn't work. I tried the Beauty Pie Uberlucent Universal, didn't work. The Pat McGrath Under Eye Setting Powder, didn't work. The Givenchy Prisma in Voile Rosé, all of those, even the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders, all 5 of those powders are the ones that I can know for sure that when I put them on, they don't make me look older. They don't emphasize texture, because with everything else I've used them with, powder, foundation, what have you, they look stunning. They make my under eyes look like my under eyes, but that Pro Fix Stick, it was not good. Now, for me, I was glad that I didn't, spend $50 on a concealer that was, but still, I don't want to keep a $10 product that doesn't work for me. It all boiled down to, it didn't make me look my best. And that's what I'm hoping every time I try a product. And if you make me look bad, no. As I get older and develop more texture on my face, I realize the types of products that I can use on my face is changing. I can't use as many glowy powders. If I do, they have to have a subtle radiance, not a really high radiance. I am wearing something that's fairly glowy today, but this is a cream product, and I don't feel like it emphasizes texture. It's just lovely. But I did pick up one of these new blushes from Rare. It's so pretty. I wanted to love it. This is the shade Cheer. And from what I've heard from people, do you see how metallic it is? Is that out of the entire line, this shade in Cheer is the one that has less pigment and more shimmer, where other ones have a reduced amount of shimmer and more pigment to them. So this is a really beautiful, beautiful shade. But when I, build it up to get a blush look out of it, all you can see is the texture on the back of my hand. Like, you don't see as much texture here. And this is like, look, I am not 12 years old. This looks stunning on both of my teenagers. My 14 and 16-year-old love this. They think it's like the best thing. They're always like, Mom, can I use the Rare Beauty blush? And they look beautiful, but their skin is flawless. They literally have no pores, no wrinkles. Youth is a wonderful and miraculous thing, but this was made for a younger audience. Now, can I make it work? Yes. And when I don't think of this as a blush, when I think of this as a pink blush topper or even a highlight, I like it because I'm not trying to build the pigment up to full opacity. I'm not trying to get it to look blushy. Might I like a different one in this lineup, a different shade that has more pigment and less shimmer? Maybe. Am I going to go buy one? No. So I have to shift how I think about this. I have to think about it as highlighter and not blush. It is beautiful. It just doesn't do any favors for my skin. And really, that's what I'm wanting. Something that's always going to make me look my best. I had the same problem with this. This is Beauty Pie's Awesome Bronze Super Radiance Glowing Powder. So look, we've got 4 quadrants. We've got 2 bronzers, a blush, a highlight. I use this initially individually, like I put a brush in each different quadrant and I used it on my face. And I felt like I had to rescue the look the first time I tried it. The next several times I've used it, I've swirled them all together, kind of trying to miss this shade here, because although it is a really pretty shade, this kind of deep, really warm leaning bronzer is too much for my fair skin. So I do best when I go like this and I hit those 3 and I kind of swirl them together and use it as a bronzy, blushy highlight. Okay. That's not the sort of product that I prefer, but the other thing that I've noticed is even if I were to swirl them all together, do you see how metallic this is? It is so, again, brings out nothing but the texture on my skin. And what's surprising to me is that most of the powders from Beauty Pie are like epically awesome for me. They are literally some of my favorites. The Uberlucent Universal. I like their loose matte setting powder. I like their powder blushes, their powder bronzers. They've got so many, even their powder highlight. They have so many beautiful powders that work so well for me. So when I saw this, I was like, sign me up. And the truth is, it didn't work for me. I would not recommend this if you are dealing with texture or if you're really fair. If you have like a light to medium skin tone, this bronze is probably gonna look great on you. And you can either use them individually or swirl them together. I feel like it's kind of messy now, but it really does need to be swirled together because trying to get your brush in each little quadrant is difficult because of the size. But it's not a bad product. It's just not made for the skin that I want to see every time I look in the mirror. I don't want to see something that's too warm and bronzy and textured. And that's what this gives me. All I have left are lip products. And some of these products fall into the category of, oh, I spent how much for that? Like they didn't merit the price. And other ones just didn't work for me at all. So the first one I want to share with you is one that I haven't talked about before. And this is not really a lipstick or a lip gloss, it's a lip serum. And this is from the brand Good Light. They are, I think, a Korean American brand where they have a lot of Korean technology. If I'm remembering correctly, the owner or maybe the CEO is American with a South Korean heritage, so they really love Korean style skincare. And so far there's no makeup, it's just skincare. There are other products I'd be interested to try from the line, but this was the one that really caught me. This Good Light Space Milk Lip Serum is one that is white. When you put it on, it looks, I mean, it literally looks white, but the more you rub it in, it kind of absorbs and goes away. So the idea of this, and this is the part where I'm like, wait, what? And I'll explain that, yes, it doesn't really make sense, but still, wait, what? Is that this is a serum, so they want you to put this on and then use any occlusive over the top. So a layer of Aquaphor, a layer of Vaseline, something like Balm.com or Lano Lips. Okay, if this is a two-part thing where you need this and something else, can you sell it to me that way? Can you sell me the occlusive that goes along with this? A lot of the marketing for this shows people who have severely chapped lips, lips that are cracked and bleeding or flaking, putting this on, and in less than 24 hours, like their lips are healed overnight. I could not speak to that because I never let my lips get that bad. I'm the sort of person who, if I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, kind of like, oh, I'm gonna roll over. Before I roll over and go back to bed, I grab my tube of Balm.com, apply another layer, roll over, and go back to bed. So I'm not the person who ever has lips in a state unless it's the dead of winter and I'm doing my darndest and nothing is working. So this being something that's gonna be like a serum for your lips, okay, but in the mid-teens range, I'm not sure that it's doing enough, because if you don't top it, like 7 minutes later or 10 minutes later, it's like, wait, what happened? And my lips feel dry. So this must needs be covered with something else. Does it work? Yeah. For me, because my lips aren't that bad, is it an unnecessary step? Yeah. And the other thing that bothers me is I do like the packaging. It's super cute, but you can see I've used a lot of it. There's still stuff on the walls here, but the problem I'm having is that even when I have this in, the doe foot doesn't go all the way to the bottom, so I have a lot of product collecting down here. Now this happens with a lot of products that have doe foots in tubes. I understand that. But I want to love a product so much that when I get to that point where it's hard for me to get it out, I want to bring out my little spatula and be like, I want it all. This, I don't think would merit the effort that it takes to take out the stopper in here and scraping it out. Like, it's a little laborious. If I get to the point where I can't get anything else out of this, I think it's going to be done. Is it a bad product? No. Does it work for me? I don't think it really makes a difference. It might work better for you if you have severely chapped lips, or if you don't like wearing, say, color. If you want to put this on and then like a layer of Aquaphor, you'd probably really like this. But this was kind of like a, And I know we have skincare for our face where we put serum down and then we put other things on top of it. That's what this is going for, but I don't need that many steps. I don't. And I feel like I get the same level of hydration with and without that serum. This was a $50 mistake that made me so sad. I really wanted to love the Byredo lipstick that I bought. I love the packaging. I love the weight of it. I love the heft. I love that it has this gorgeous magnetic closure. I like that it's this sculptural, compact, little tiny bullet, and that it's the two-tone. It's stunning, visually stunning. It is what I want every luxury lipstick to be: weighty, heavy, metallic, magnetic, all of that. But I did not order this from the Byredo website. I ordered this, I think, from Nordstrom. And Nordstrom had every single shade that Byredo made, and they didn't let you sort them by like satins and mattes. You had to look and see and click on each one to see what the description was. And some of their satins are metallic satins, but guess who didn't list that on their website? Thanks a lot, Nordstrom. So I got this shade that I thought was going to be beautiful. I really have been loving kind of more mid-tone shades. And I mean, it does look really pretty here, but the minute I put it on my lips, you can see the metallic pearl that's in this. And it just takes me back to 1987 with the metallic lipsticks that I remember seeing everybody's mom wearing, and like all of my cool friends in middle school. Ooh, I do not like a pearl lipstick. Let me throw this on for you. Is it a bad lipstick? No. It feels nice. It wears nice. I wish it was a little bit thicker and a little bit more moisturizing, but for me, the same problem I had with the powder products, the blush and the bronzer like Quad, is that the metallic really shows all the lines on my lips. I feel it makes my lips look more aligned than any other lip product does. And for me, that's a huge no, no. I think the shade is pretty, and I think this is the sort of thing that would look great on so many people, but because I don't have good memories of like pearlized or metallic lips, this is like, I hate to use the word triggering, but sometimes there's a little bit of that comes with memories from 80s makeup. And this is one of those that is not a nostalgic, happy, like blush memory. This is like those, blue eyeshadow and pearly pink lipsticks that was like, and that's what I feel when I'm wearing this. And it's so sad because I like everything about this except for the fact that it was pearlized. So this was really like a me problem. I didn't do my due diligence. Also, Nordstrom didn't list it on their website but normally I look on multiple sites, I look for reviews, and I was just like, I want a Byredo lipstick. This shade looks great. By the way, this is the shade Amber and Furs, and it is a beautiful shade and probably works for so many people. But it's the fact that it makes my lips look more aligned that I cannot abide. So this was a fail. This next one was a total flop for me. And I didn't think it was going to be a problem because I love a red lipstick. This is Clé de Peau's Rouge à Lèvres Satin Lipstick in the shade Riveting Red. So remember what I told you I loved about this, the packaging, the weightiness, the heaviness. This feels like a Maybelline lipstick, okay? It's plastic. It has and even the snap closure is not really good. It's not magnetic. It's not refillable, and it feels so cheap. All right. So beyond that, is the lipstick bad? No, but this is $65. The minute tax is involved, it's over $70 for this lipstick. And I do not want a just okay $70 lipstick that I can get the equivalent of at the drugstore. The other thing is, I don't feel like the shades in this line are terribly nuanced. I feel like you have your standard reds, your standard pinks, your standard nudes. And if I want something that was just like run of the mill, I'm not going to pay almost $70 for it. And that to me is why this is it's not a bad lipstick. I feel like they're charging you for the name because they're not delivering in packaging. They're not delivering in formula. And I know that Clé de Peau is often marketed towards a more mature audience. I fall into that category, but this lipstick also found all of those fine lines that I have as I'm getting older and traveled. So I had to always be babysitting this lipstick. And there's nothing I dislike more than a high maintenance red. Let me put it on for you though. It's a pretty lipstick, but I can't wear it that long unless I have a lip liner, and I'm always double checking the mirror. Here is Riveting Red. It's okay. It's okay, but I feel like I can get something that's very similar in shade and texture to this at a significantly lower price point, like less than $10 price point. I am not the sort of person that wants to continue buying products where I'm paying for a name and there's little substance inside. I feel like I would understand it a little bit more had they spent the amount of money Byredo did to make a beautiful component that's weighty, that's magnetic, that's all of those things. Oh, no. That bothers me the most. And then again, just the lack of nuanced shades. This goes everywhere. I don't want to work that hard for a $70 lipstick. Okay, 65. We'll say it's 65. But you know, if we add in tax, she's expensive and not worth it. Last two lipsticks are from the same brand. They are two that I picked up for my luxury lipstick series, and these are from Bouche Rouge. I have been so curious about these because the products themselves looked amazing. There is nothing more luxurious than their little reusable, refillable lipstick holders. I love these so much because they're made out of leather. They've got this beautiful detailing. It's got the monogram here on top. They're exquisitely made. They are so heavy. Like if I were to throw this at the wall, I'm worried I might punch a hole in the wall with this. If I threw it with enough force, it would make a hole in the wall. This is heavy. This is weighted. This is beautiful. It's not just magnetized here, but this magnetizes into the bottom and you can hear it click in. The other thing that's great about this brand is that you don't have to have one of their refillable containers. Every single bullet comes housed in this little cardboard container. And what's great about this is that you can actually put this in here and guess who works as its own lipstick case. And that's a good thing because these guys right here, and it snaps on nicely. Everything about this cardboard container here is great. That's a good thing because this lipstick that comes in this packaging is $45. But if you want it in this beautiful refillable, guess how much these are? These are $80. 80 plus 45 means we're paying $125 for this experience. They do have a really beautiful range of reds. This is the matte formula. This is the shade Pop Art Red. And so far, I love the packaging, even though it's exorbitant. I love everything about this. It's the formula that really gets me. It looks really great on the lips. I really like this color. The one thing that is so weird for me, here's Pop Art Red, is that when I smush my lips together, I usually expect a product to be plush enough to move around on the lips. And this, do you see how I lost color right here? And I don't have lipstick there. And the more I talk, the more my lips come together and separate, the more that this happens. It does not stay right in the center part. And normally, if I had a different formula, I could do this and it would redistribute the lipstick on my lips. And I feel like the more I do this, the more I'm pushing the color to the outside edges. The other thing I would want with a $125 lipstick is for it to be more comforting, more nourishing. They talk about how these are full of natural, organic, vegan sort of ingredients and make them very nourishing. I don't find them to be that nourishing. Maybe my older lips are needing something that maybe 20 years ago my lips would have been fine with. But the other thing that's funny is that they're talking about how this is a vegan product in a leather case. I don't understand it. Make it make sense. But they don't just do lipstick. They have products that come in compacts. They have mascara that comes in tubes, and all of their reusable packaging is leather, but and they really hang their hat on a vegan formula. That's a little curious to me. Here's the other one I picked up from Bouche Rouge. One thing that you should know is that this black case is actually made out of vegan leather, which I think is, why don't they do that with all of their products if they're talking about being vegan formulas? Okay, this is their satin formula. This is the shade L'Adore. I love this shade. Love this shade, but I have the same problem with this that I have with the matte. Here is the L'Adore shade. It looks really pretty on the lips, but the minute I do this, I can see that I'm missing color here where I wasn't before. And there's no amount of continuing to, I could do it if I took my finger to my lips to redistribute the color, but I don't want lipstick on my finger. No, thank you. I can't. And not at this price. I mean, everything about this is luxurious except for the formula. I wish the formula performed better because the colors are beautiful. I would like a little bit more hydration. I like how sheer this is. I like everything about this. The color, I mean, come on, and they're so pretty. They're really good. A really cool red, a really nice warm tomatoey red. But the truth is, this formula in 2 hours looks terrible on my lips. My lips do get dry because there's not enough hydration in these. And then the fact that I get that little ringer in the middle where there's no color, at that price point to me, it's really unforgivable. I would love to have a better formula to put in these little cases, because these are so cool. Like just that little snap closure. Oh, I love everything about this is luxurious except for the $45 bullet. Hey, thanks for watching. I like being able to tell you what is really not hitting for me, what just didn't work, so that I can make the beauty mistakes for you. That's really my goal, is to say, if you wear makeup the same way I do, if we have a similar aesthetic, if we're expecting similar things from a product, these didn't work because of XYZ. Some of these might be exactly what you're looking for, because this is a great product. A lot of people are loving it, talking about it. It's just not made for me the way I like my skin to look. Same thing with this. I feel like this is actually a good product, but it's just not one of those that is something that I need in my routine. Some other people might really like it and think it's a good option. Same with the Natasha Denona highlighting product. I mean, a lot of it comes down to, what are you looking for in a makeup item? How are you expecting it to deliver, you know, to your daily look? And these are just the ones that fell flat for me. I would like to know, have you tried anything this year that really let you down, that was like, oh, I can't believe I spent the money on this? One thing I would recommend is, if you can, remember most places in the United States will allow you to make a return even if you've used the product. You don't have to keep them like I do and spend $65 on a lipstick and then not like it. Get your money back. Or exchange it for something that you know you'll use. You might have seen some of these end up in kind of like the worst category in my monthly favorites and fails, but I'm really looking forward to doing my next one of those in a couple of days. You'll see that next week. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you again soon.